before and after, and yeah, with the emotional process. So for me, my life is much more different now. I am 14, but I was only diagnosed 18 months ago. So I was told a lot before I was diagnosed that I had nothing. It was normal whenever I went to doctor appointments, that I would be fine, that there was nothing wrong with me. Even my school, when I was at my primary school, I didn't think there was anything wrong with me. And then as I was kind of moving on, and so so that in itself, emotionally for me, was difficult. It was frustrating at most times because one of my best friends is dyslexic, and so I watched her get a lot of the help for a long period of time, which was frustrating and could be quite upsetting for times with me because I was struggling, but I didn't really know how to tell anyone because I was always told that I had nothing wrong with me. So yeah, and then as I was moving into secondary school, I was then registered partially sighted, and that was kind of when the whole process of me starting to get diagnosed kind of came around. At my school, which I moved into secondary school at that time, I started to get a lot more help, and that kind of, in a way, it was hard to process because it was such a change, and also emotionally for me, you kind of think, is there then something wrong with me, or is everything going to be fine? It's kind of that process that is kind of hard to deal with, and in a way I'm still kind of going through since my diagnosis is still recent. And then I got diagnosed in the summer, and as I was getting when I got told the news that I was diagnosed, my mom was ecstatic because before my mom had been told that I had something else, and she now knew that I was going to live and that she was going to have me around for a long time. So in her world she was happy, and also it was BBS 1, so there was kind of another process with that. When I was told, though, I was very different in my reaction. I didn't say anything. I was shocked, really, because I'd been told my whole life that I had nothing. So I had tears in my eyes, but I didn't cry. I was still kind of very shocked. And then that was really when my life really started to change. And so I'm in second year now, because I live in Scotland, so in my school we call it second year, but down south we would call it like 9th year. And for me now, my sight is much worse than it used to be. I would find that, especially my teenage years, since I'm 14 now, but since I kind of went into my teenage years from like 13, that my sight has gradually gotten worse. And that in itself is quite a hard process to deal with because you don't know what's going to happen. That process of not knowing is difficult, and it's still very difficult for me to deal with. So, and I deal with that every day, but it's still a very difficult process. And I've now started to get more and more help, so my sight is now in a way that I get out of my classes early from each class to class because I can't cope in my corridors anymore because of the amount of people that go through them. So for me to get from class to class, it's a small thing, but it's made such a change to my life because as I would notice and my mom would notice that I am much less stressed. I'm very much more calm, and I'm also less grumpy because that's one of the things when I'm stressed, I become very grumpy or tired. Grumpy. That's also how my mom notices me when I haven't had my tablets. So yeah, that's how I notice. Now in kind of sport-wise, for me, I was on sports since like I could like from like my mom would have me just doing things like the whole time, like even when I was like a couple months old, like and I would like be in like one of those mats and just kind of with those toys above, she would get me to kind of just do stuff to kind of exercise. So I've been on like an exercising program for like a long time. So it's been a long time, and then um, my mom was a skater, so she wanted, in a way, one of her kids to be a skater, but after my brother and sister didn't turn out to be one, she kind of lost hope. And then when I was 7, my mom signed me up for skating programs. Well, for the skating session, and I went once a week, and I stepped on the ice, and I was okay, still getting my balance, and my mom was nervous, very. Yeah, I got my balance, and then it just kind of left off from there, and yeah, so this is my 7th year of skating. For me personally, this is kind of the sport and how I exercise a lot. For me, it's kind of what I do, and for me, skating wise, my mom runs competitions for disability sport. So for skating is what it mainly does, and to all disabilities out there. So I've competed in those, and that has kind of helped a lot. So like, and one of the things that me and my mom always say that is nice about it is that even if I do lose my sight or my sight gets worse, I will be able to do it for a long time. And then yeah, so could we play the video now of my skating program? So this is a recent skating program that I did. This is actually my first skating program that I did when I was like 8, and my mom didn't think I had any time, so she like threw me in. I've always like literally. So she just kind of threw me in with the 5% and be like, okay, there you go. And I was like, okay, mom, because I'd always wanted to be a flower girl, and that chance never came, and still hasn't. So, but yeah, so that is kind of primarily one of the sports that I do. But another thing that I do a lot that many people don't know is that I play bridge. I've always loved cards, and there was a new math teacher who came along at my school, and although he's a terrible math teacher, he is a great bridge teacher. So I had him for like when I came into chances and into like secondary school, and I was like, I just don't want him again. Yeah, but he's a nice person, but I don't want him for maths. But he's a very good bridge teacher. So yeah, I've been playing that for a couple of years now. So and last year I went to Scottish Schools Bridge, and with my team I was 3rd there. And so yeah, but no, yeah, that's it.
So thank you, Juliana. That was you're an absolute inspiration. I can't believe you're just 14. Has anyone got any questions? A couple of questions Are you all right to take a couple of questions? Any questions? Go ahead. Do you want to stand up and shout?
Hiya. You must have had a few injuries skating. What's the worst injury you've had? Could you add me and how did it affect you?
This may surprise you, but I have never had any injury. So I've never had any injuries. Yes, you do get quite sore after skating, muscles wise. But no, I've never had any injuries from skating. Yeah.
Another question over there, on a white shirt.
Yeah, hi. My daughter Lady is 3 years younger than me. She loves that sport as well. And do you find it helps your self-confidence? Sort of helps the condition, the fact that you have something to sort of throw yourself into rather than sort of worrying about condition itself?
I would say in a way it does. It helps take your mind off of, the day that you've had in a way. For me, necessarily if I've had like a bad day at school, it's kind of nice just to go do a sport that I love.
Yeah, I mean, she finds that she's never really accepted, like in secondary school in sports, whereas she's striving to sort of do a disability sport, maybe where it should be one of the top rather than always being the one at the bottom. I think that's good.
Yeah, at our school, the kind of sports that we do are definitely, because I'm in mainstream, so they're definitely more kind of sports that they're for the able body, but you struggle a lot in those sports, and you kind of can feel isolated quite a bit, so yeah.
One last question just here.
Hi, Juliana. What do you hope to go on to do skating?
We will see where it goes. For me, I like to go with the flow. I would like to take my skating career further. It just kind of depends. I would have to wait and see where it goes.
You get lots of coaching.
Yeah, so I've had the same coach since I started for 6 years now, where I skate. And then because I can't skate on my own anymore, so my mum guides me on the ice, so she also does a lot of coaching with me.
Well, thank you very much, Juliana, and a big round of applause.